name's Claire. I work for an organisation called LEAPS. LEAPS stands for Loading Equal Access Programme for Schools. You shouldn't have to remember that, it's a really ridiculously long title. But what we do is really simple. We help students who are thinking of going to university, want to leave school, or thinking of going to college to do an HNC or an HND, so the level just below degree. So what I want to do for the next very quick 10 minutes is give you a wee bit of background to LEAPS. I'll not bore you too much with that. We'll talk about how we support students at this school, and also how you work out how you are eligible for LEAPS. So not every single student at this school will be eligible for LEAPS support, but a good number of students will be. So I'll talk about that, but as I say, I will keep it very short. Okay, so what are LEAPS and what do we do? So we represent students who are traditionally underrepresented in higher education. We're very much a partnership organisation, so you'll see all the logos on the screens there. We work in partnership and are part funded by all the organisations you see up there, including the Scottish Borders Council. I should have mentioned at the beginning, we're called Lothian Equal Access Programme for Schools, but we've been working in the Borders for well over 10 years now. We're based in Edinburgh, part funded, part supported by these organisations. But what we do, as I say, is really simple. We give impartial information and advice if a young person is thinking of going to university or thinking of going to college to do an HNC or HND. Now you might have spotted on the last slide that the universities that were up there were all universities in Edinburgh. We're multi-exit, so we happen to be funded and supported by universities in Edinburgh, but it doesn't matter to us where your son or daughter is thinking of going. So if you think going to Dundee, Strathclyde, Aberdeen, we can give them impartial information and advice. And we want to speak to the students who are thinking of going on at degree level, but equally those guys that are thinking about HNCs and HNDs, they're brilliant qualifications in their own right as well. So the kind of things that we offer in terms of activities, our support in this school starts in 5th year and goes on in the 6th year. Okay, so if you're a parent of a 4th year student, this is the kind of stuff that's coming up. So in S5, between January and March time, we offer some online support to help with the subject choices. Obviously, school will be leading that and giving you lots of information and advice, but we give a little bit extra support and advice, and just make sure that whatever course at uni or college your young person is thinking of going on to, that they're picking the right subjects, as Leslie was saying earlier. It's so important to get them into that university or college. So that's something we do in 5th year between January and March. We also offer parents and carers information evening around about the same time, just to help parents and carers maybe start thinking more seriously about university, about college, and about the application process. In 6th year we offer one-to-one interviews, and I'm going to talk about them in a bit, and we also offer a transitions course that's designed to help students with a transition from school or the university and higher education. So if you are a parent or a carer of a 6th year student, the students in this school who are eligible for LEAPS have already had their LEAPS interview. We call it an interview, it's just an informal chat. And those took place in September in school. And all that is a little bit of extra support, 30 minutes interview in school about what is that young person thinking of doing. We'll do a little check on entry requirements, check that they're likely to get an offer for the universities that they're planning to apply to, or colleges. We'll look at what plan B should look like. Every young person can tell you what they want to do, but not everybody can tell you what their plan B is. So we'll look at a plan B, and we also have a real discussion over what could they be doing between that point that we see them and the point when they apply to make their application more competitive. So just a little bit of extra help that will give a little bit of extra support to students who are eligible for LEAPS. So if you're a parent or carer of a 4th or 5th year student, this is something that will be coming up in 6th year. Okay, another thing that we offer, running for a couple of years now, is our LEAPS Transitions course. It's for 6th year students. It's a timetabled option for students, and it's designed to help them with the academic skills that they need to succeed at university. It's a mixture of online and in-person activity. In-person takes place at the University of Edinburgh, and if you're a school like this one that's a wee bit further away from Edinburgh, then you would go in to university about 3 times each term, and it runs from September to Easter. Do lectures, tutorials, and focus on, as I say, those skills that are helpful when you get to university: critical thinking, referencing, all those things that I remember that I was rubbish at and wish I'd done a course like that. So transitions course is something that LEAPS eligible students can get involved in once they go into 6th year, and it's something that almost all the universities in Scotland now recognise and will consider along with hires. So something to bear in mind if you're young persons in maybe 4th or 5th year at the moment. Okay, so what could you be doing just now? You know, if you're a parent of somebody in 6th year getting ready to apply, or maybe somebody in 5th year who's just seeing what they can do in 5th year, so that when the time comes to apply, they're going to have a strong application. So on our website, available for everybody to see, is some resources on our S6 blog and our S5 hub for 5th and 6th years. There's just wee articles on open days, on career and course exploration, on the differences between college and university and choosing between them. So, I would encourage you as parents and carers to dip into those, and then encourage your young people to do the same. We've got a parent and carers page on our website. Frequently asked questions is quite handy. I've got some leaflets if anybody wants to take them away. You can sign up to our mailing list. We don't give you loads of unwanted emails, probably just once, every couple of months, just key information that's relevant to the age and stage that your young person's at. So I mentioned at the beginning that not everybody at this school is eligible for LEAPS. A good number of students are. We would like to offer the service that we offer to all students, but we are 13 people based in Edinburgh, and we have limited resources. We work in 73 schools over Edinburgh, the Lothians, the Scottish Borders, and the kind of Stirling area. So we have to have criteria in place so that we can target what we do at the students who we think will most benefit. So in order to be eligible for LEAPS and to take part in the one-to-one interviews that I talked about, or to sign up for our LEAPS Transitions course, you have to be eligible just on one of the following eligibility. And a lot of students in this school actually are eligible in the first one, so they might be first generation in their family to apply to higher education. So neither parent has a degree or has been to university. That makes that student eligible for LEAPS. So neither student been. Sometimes students get a wee bit confused and say, "Oh, my sister or brother been, my auntie's been, does that count?" And I say, yes, that's great, but it's for our purposes, it's your parent or carers. So if your parents or carers have not been, and nobody has a degree in the family, then you are eligible for LEAPS. If you are in receipt of educational maintenance allowance, if you're entitled to free school meals, if your family receives universal credit, any of those things, that would make you eligible for LEAPS. If you're a student who's has spent some time in care or been looked after at any point in their life, that would also make you eligible. If you're living without the support of your parents or carers, if you're an estranged student, that would make you eligible. If you're a student who has caring responsibilities at home, so for a family member or a friend who maybe couldn't cope without their support, that would also make a student eligible for LEAPS. And the last thing that can make them eligible is based on their postcode. And there is a really helpful checker on our website. If you think your young person might be eligible in postcode, you can pop it in, put the school's name from a drop-down menu, and then it will return a wee message to say if your young person is eligible for LEAPS based on postcode. If you want to speak to me about that, please see me at the end and I'll talk to you about it. But basically, I've done it bad, that was quite quick. That's really just what I want to take you through. If you've got any questions, happy to speak to you at the end. But just to reiterate, obviously, if your young person's not eligible for LEAPS, they're going to get a huge amount of support and help from careers advisors, from all the guidance staff in school. It's just a little extra bit of support that we offer, because we understand that going to university and college is competitive, and any help that you can get along the way is always welcome. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Claire. The LEAPS do offer fantastic support for so many of our students. In most year groups, over 50% of our students qualify for LEAPS support, and it's a huge amount. It's a great amount of support. It's really, really, really valuable.